Welcome, everybody, to the MythBusters Aftershow. Based on my hat and the props on the table, it should be pretty obvious that we are answering your questions about busters of the lost myths. Let's jump right into your questions. Jamie, the first question is, tell us about the first time you saw Raiders at the cinema.
I think I saw it on the television.
Really? Summer of 1980, you did not go see it in the theater?
No.
It is like the greatest summer of movies in our entire lives was 1980, and I can't believe you waited until it came out on VHS, which would have been like 10 years later. No?
No.
I saw Raiders of the Lost Ark in the cinema. I think I was in Cape Cod, and I remember coming out of it and thinking, that was pretty much the best movie I have ever seen. Absolutely, completely memorable, totally life-altering. I loved it. So what did you think when you watched it? Or did you just think, there was another movie, when's dinner?
Pretty much.
Okay. Next question, you're putting more build process back into the show. Is that something that you're happy with?
Absolutely. It's all about the process. It's where we come from. It's what we normally did before we started to be in front of the camera.
Also, we realized looking back at some of our old shows that we were eliminating some of the screw-ups that naturally happen as part of every single build because we were solving problems before we'd even gotten to them. And it was just like, you know, the episode would be cut as like, problem here and the problem is solved. But there's a lot of stuff that goes on in between, and we wanted to make sure that got covered. So we've restructured our schedule and our ability to shoot it so that you actually get to see us messing up from time to time.
Yeah, well, you know, and the show is not just about urban legends or myths or whatever. It's about how we deal with them, and part of that is the process. It's a very important part of it.
What happened to the whip that Adam made? It is safely ensconced on the whip shelf in my cave. I'd have a whip shelf. There's 7 whips on it now. It's quite a display. Someday I'll have you over to see it.
In his man cave.
No, it's not a man cave. I just call it the cave. Man cave's just weird. Say cave. All right. Next question. How good was your whip expert? Anthony DeLongis.
Yes, Anthony was an expert at handling whips.
He was incredible. He could take almost anything remotely whip-like and be like, pop, 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 and like knock over dominoes and glasses and stuff.
Yeah, he spent a lot of time with that whip.
He actually also trained, he trained Harrison Ford for a couple of the Raiders films, also trained Michelle Pfeiffer for her Catwoman costume for the Batman sequel. The guy's been around a long time. He really knows his stuff.
Yeah, if you want to learn about whips, he's the guy.
He's the one. Next question, why is it that Adam dresses up but Jamie never does?
You're the one that likes to get up all dressed up and...
Maybe you're answering my part of the question. Why don't you answer your part of the question?
Well, apparently I'm already in costume of some sort or other. At least it seems to be working so far.
That's your answer?
Yes.
Apparently? That is the... You're giving a personal answer in the passive tense.
Yes. Do you have a problem with that?
Next question. Do you really think your idol was cursed? Okay, next question. There was a lot of bleeped out swearing in this episode. When you're frustrated, what is your swear word of choice? What's your swear word of choice, Jamie?
I don't know.
I like, but I don't say U.S. because the Australians, you know, it's more of an Anglo-Saxon kind of curse. That'll be fun. Next question. Did Jamie really have all those bits and bobs for the gun rig lying around in his shop?
Yes, I did.
Yeah. You were short a couple of the pneumatic valves, but that was covered in the episode.
Yeah, I was frustrated because, you know, I had to only have 14 and I needed 16. It's like, give me a break. You know, I stock. If you want that stuff, a lot of times it's really helpful to just be able to, you know, pull it out of a drawer and say, that looks about right, you know, and you hold it up to some other components, maybe you test it. You go on a catalog, it's like you got to wait a few days or whatever before you get the thing, and what if it's not right? It just...
Well, for a good example of that were the little digital timers we had for our gun rig. There's a mystifying array of them. I mean, that little timer, there's probably something like 70 or 80 different types of that timer that do all sorts of different things in slightly different increments, and they're all really close to each other.
And if we'd had those in the shop and we could have tried them out, we wouldn't have the problem that we did.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what the problem is with catalogs. You kind of see some of the stuff, but maybe not really everything you need to know.
But the implication is that, of your question, is that somehow we're putting one over on you and the shop can't possibly hold all that stuff? No, the answer is shop pretty much holds all that stuff. Next question, why was Harrison Ford not in this episode? I had the same question.
We couldn't get him.
Yeah, we called, we didn't get an answer. Harrison Ford, I mean, he's Harrison Ford. Like, remember that part. We're just the MythBusters. I hope he'll watch this episode and enjoy it.
We've got some really important people on this show, though.
We do.
Yeah. Cameron and
Hey.
who else? And we had the guys from Breaking Bad.
Absolutely.
And we had the president on this show.
Welcome to the White House.
We did have the president on the show. Maybe we should ask the president to call Harrison Ford and see if he'd come on. Next question. It was interesting watching the high speed of the supersonic whip, but my question is this. Is it mandatory to have facial hair on MythBusters? That was a sneaky little redirect you did there. Is it mandatory to have facial hair on MythBusters? Remember that correlation does not imply causation. That's the phrase I was looking for.
Very good.
Yay, there we go. Thank you. Okay, next question. Who would win in a fight, Indiana Jones or Han Solo? I'm actually going to add a third one to that, Rick Deckard. Who would win in a fight, Indiana Jones, Han Solo, or Rick Deckard?
Who's Rick Deckard?
Blade Runner.
Oh. Well, I'd say Han Solo was younger.
Han Solo was younger than Indy. This is
younger
true.
than Blade Runner guy.
Yeah, younger than Blade Runner guy.
So
well, Blade Runner guy was only a couple years old because it turns out he was a replicant. So he kind of had super strength even though he didn't know it. So I'm actually going to go with Rick Deckard.
Okay.
Let's go with Rick Deckard on that. All right, last question. What do you think of Kingdom of the Crystal Skull? Be honest.
That was my favorite.
I have no idea what that is. Is that a movie? Thanks for coming on the MythBusters After Show. We loved making this episode. It was so much crazy fun. We hope you had as much fun watching it as we did making it. We will see you guys next week with a brand new episode of MythBusters.
Yeah.
Bye.